Don't just accept whatever LinkedIn's stuck in there. Really optimize that.
Hi everyone, welcome to another Marketing Snapshot with me, John Cleary. And this week I've got Hollie Whittles with me. Hi Hollie.
Hi John, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. Hollie, do you want to tell people a bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm director of two companies. One of them is a digital marketing consultancy where I deliver talks and webinars and speeches. It's called Fraggleworks. And then I'm director of a data analytics consultancy where we kind of work with big corporate clients on their data analytics solutions and reporting, which is Purple Frog.
Wow, okay. Cool. So why is what you do important in the marketing mix?
So I get to work with a lot of really interesting businesses. And if I focus mainly on Fraggleworks, that's where I'm really supporting small businesses. And I'm helping them work out what their digital marketing strategy should be. So I partner with like councils and the growth hubs and organisations like the Federation of Small Businesses to deliver national webinars and to help people understand how they could be better using things like social media, website advertising, Google Analytics, and giving them that kind of bird's eye view of everything that they should be considering. And then turning the spotlight on them, trying to figure out what is their niche, what is their USP, who is their ideal client, who are they trying to target. So with marketing, and especially digital marketing, it's really, really important to have the answers to those questions, because if you don't know what your niche is and who your target audience is, then your marketing is just going to be going out into the ether somewhere, and you need to be really, really focused. And it's a really noisy marketplace, so whatever you do put out, it's got to stand out amongst the crowd.
That's great, yes. And getting your message right is really, really important. And I know we met at the FSB bootcamp, didn't we? And you were talking about LinkedIn, which is one of the reasons I invited you onto this, because what you said really kind of resonated. And I thought it would be really useful for people to hear. So do you want to tell us a little bit about LinkedIn and kind of what's the best way to work it?
Yeah, so I was really pleased when they asked me to go and speak at that bootcamp, because it's been broadcasted nationally, and some of the feedback we've had on social media was amazing. But I love talking about LinkedIn. It's one of my favourite social media platforms. It's really good for business to business, and it was about giving them some top tips about getting their LinkedIn profiles right. So that's when someone tries to look for you, even down to, does the profile picture actually even look like you? And that's where they need, people like your help, taking that really good social media, strong headshot, getting that cover photo right. And then it's about the headline, because that's what comes up in searches, and that's what the algorithm will look at. What keywords have you put into your headline? And I think a lot of businesses don't realize when they're sort of looking at LinkedIn that you can change that headline. So if you don't do anything with it, it will just take whatever you said your last job title was. So if you're the director of a business, it'll just put in you're a director of ABC Limited. But you can really change that headline into making it really stand out with some keyword rich content in there. So you're going to come up in the searches then. And remembering things like when you're adding photos, to add tags of describing what those photos are. And I encourage people to use as much real world case studies as well. So, how have you helped clients? What have you done? What is your niche? What are your services? Being really, really focused, really, really clear, because businesses are so fast moving these days that, you know, they'll be off onto the next person if you haven't actually managed to get your message across really succinctly. And LinkedIn's evolved massively, especially since Microsoft bought it back in 2016, I think it was now. And they've evolved it into having this good timeline like Facebook has, where you can share posts and articles and web links. They've introduced things like LinkedIn Live, where you can go live on LinkedIn. They introduced LinkedIn Reactions, where you can do all sorts of reactions to posts. So it's become a lot more interactive, and that engagement isn't hammered in any way like it is on things like Facebook. So that organic reach is a lot better on things like LinkedIn. So optimizing your profile, it's a good profile picture, it's a strong headline, having your keywords in there, using the about section to really describe what you can do, how you can help people, what your niche is, what you're excellent at. And the thing that I really love is when they introduce the featured section. So underneath the about, you've got an opportunity to add in a couple of featured case studies of things that you've been working on. So you can have a really nice photo of you at speaking at an event, or you working with a client, and just a bit of a description underneath of what you did. And it could also be a link to an article that you've written on a website, or it could be a link to a podcast. So have a look at that featured section and add some really good photos in there and some links or some case studies of things that you've done. And then it's kind of looking a bit further down the profile of what job positions have you currently got, and including voluntary ones as well. So ones where, you know, like I'm the regional chair of the West Midlands for the Federation of Small Businesses. So I've got it in there that as a role that I'm currently actively performing. It's a voluntary position, but it's a very important position, and people might be trying to search for me under that. So all of those extra things that you do, make sure they're included in the profile. And then a bit lower down, you've got opportunities to add in things like your key skills. So you can pick your top 3 skills, you can reorder them. And then at the very bottom, you've got things like testimonials. And it's about not being afraid to ask for testimonials. You know, just click the button, ask for a recommendation, and you'll be surprised people will actually take the time to reply to you. So, you know, in about 10 to 15 minutes, you can start really revamping your profile if you just look at those few different sections and make a few changes. And one of the sort of things that I say to businesses, just spending 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn can massively boost your reach and engagement. And I actually did an experiment on this, and I did 15 minutes a day, every single day for a week, and my engagement went up 2,000%. And I actually screenshotted it because I thought people are not going to believe this. So I've got a screenshot of my engagement shooting up over that 1 week.
That's phenomenal. So when you said you spent 15 minutes on it, what were you actually doing? Were you posting? Were you commenting? Were you liking? What sort of stuff were you doing? It
was exactly that. It was a mix of all of those 3 things. It wasn't sending out thousands of connections, because LinkedIn doesn't like that either. You'll start being hammered on that. So it is about sending a few relevant connection requests. It's about liking things, engaging, adding a few comments. So it's really about that whole being active on LinkedIn, not just being present, so it's really making the most out of your profile.
Fab. So then that 2,000%, what did that represent? That was,
so it then showed me that my post views went up. So when I've written some posts, I was getting far more engagement and reach on my posts, and that people were looking at my profile more. So altogether that calculated up into an extra 2,000%. And if you really want to get into the figures behind LinkedIn, you've got your social selling score as well, your SSI index.
Yeah.
So if you put into Google LinkedIn social selling index, it will take you to the website. You just log in with your LinkedIn username and password. But it shows you how well you're ranking against your peers in the industry, which again is really, really good to show how well optimized your LinkedIn profile is.
Yeah, no, that's really good, and you've reminded me that's where I found out about that, because I went onto it after your talk on the boot camp, and I was doing okay actually. I was quite happy with my numbers.
Excellent, well done.
But I've kind of chosen LinkedIn as my platform now. I was just getting less and less engagement on Facebook, and I just find that LinkedIn is where most of my clients are hanging out anyway. So that's where I do a lot of my engagement now, and where I generally post this. And I'll get way more engagement on LinkedIn for this than I would on Facebook. Facebook, it's I might as well have just stuck it in a cupboard.
Yeah, and that's that whole piece about what I said at the start about working out who your ideal clients are, and more importantly, where are they hanging out. So it's all very well having a Facebook page, but if that's not where your clients are, then there's no point putting loads of energy into it. So you've got to try and work out, as part of that marketing research, where your ideal clients are. Yeah,
absolutely. So I kind of feel a bit greedy asking this question, Hollie, after you've just gone through the whole of the LinkedIn profile, because there's like 100 tips there. But if there was one tip that you could give to people who are watching this to improve their LinkedIn, what would it be? And I'll forgive you if you repeat something you've already just said.
Well, if it's one top tip for social media, it would be pick one platform and do it really, really well. If it's one top tip for LinkedIn, it's have a look at your headline, because that is where you're going to get found with the searches. So don't just accept whatever LinkedIn's stuck in there. Really optimize that.
Okay, that's brilliant. Now, I'm going to ask you a supplementary question here. So I've updated my headline, but it tells people what I do, and it's not focused really on keywords. In fact, I'm not even sure that I mentioned photographer in it. Is that good or is that bad?
I'd say for what you do, being an expert photographer, that's bad. Try and have like a really, really short sentence, maybe starting it saying highly experienced at, and then what you can do is use fence posts, that kind of symbol looks like that on a keyboard, to separate. You could just literally bullet point keywords. Yeah. So I've kind of done a little sentence of what I like to do, and then after that I've just put all keywords to maximize the amount of reach I'm going to get out of that headline.
Okay. I need to revisit that then straight after this.
You absolutely need to get photographer in there.
Yes. I have to say, after your talk at the thing, I do actually have a little camera at the end of my name now, so that does help people, but it won't help on searching. Fab. That's brilliant. Hollie, if people want to get in touch with you, how would they get in touch?
So I'm quite easy to find, actually. I'm pretty much on every single platform. In fact, I am on every single platform as at FraggleWorks. So FRAGGLE Works, FraggleWorks.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, that's super. Thank you. So that's it. That's another marketing snapshot. Thank you, Hollie, for coming along. Really appreciate your time. And thanks everyone for watching. See you next time. Cheers.
Bye.